Urgent Dallas Cowboys fans, do not miss this. What just happened? You won't believe this one. But before we reveal the big news, make sure to subscribe to the channel because here we bring you daily videos with the latest Dallas Cowboys updates. And to not miss anything, activate the notifications. Hey, Cowboys Nation! Today we're diving deep into a story that's been buzzing around the NFL and more specifically in the heart of Dallas. It's a story that could have seismic implications for the Cowboys' future, especially regarding their defense, which many fans have been scrutinizing all season long. If you've been paying close attention to the latest reports, rumors, and insider insights, you already know that something big is brewing behind the scenes. And trust me, this isn't just another off-season chatter. It's a potential gain share. One that could redefine the Cowboys' defensive identity for years to come. So, what exactly is happening? Well, the buzz centers around the future of Dallas's defensive coordinator, Matt Eberflus. It seems like the Cowboys are increasingly unlikely to bring him back for the 2024 season. Why? Because Jerry Jones, the legendary owner and GM, has been making it pretty clear, at least through his words to the media, that he's leaning towards making a major change. For weeks, Jones has been hinting that the team's defensive struggles, which have persisted throughout this season, are a reflection of the need for a new voice, a new strategic vision. The question is, who will fill that role? And more importantly, can the Cowboys attract a defensive coordinator of the caliber they need to finally turn things around? Now, one name has been popping up more than any other in these discussions. Brian Schottenheimer. Yes, the same Brian Schottenheimer who's been calling plays for the Cowboys offense, but who's also a respected tactician in NFL circles. The hope among many fans and insiders is that Jerry Jones will give Schottenheimer the freedom to bring in his own defensive mind. Someone who can truly elevate the unit. That leads us directly into the most intriguing part of this story, the pursuit of Brian Flores. You see, Brian Flores isn't just any coordinator. He's arguably one of the most sought-after defensive minds in the league right now. His track record speaks volumes. From his days with the Patriots, where he was part of the coaching staff during their historic Super Bowl runs, to his time as the head coach of the Miami Dolphins, Flores has consistently shown that he can craft aggressive, disciplined, and highly effective defenses. His tenure with Miami in particular was marked by a noticeable improvement in the Dolphins' defensive metrics. And even though his overall head coaching record was mixed, his reputation as a defensive strategist remains stellar. But here's the catch. Flores is currently a free agent with his contract with the Minnesota Vikings set to expire at the end of this season. And that's where it gets really interesting because Flores, despite his success, is in a bit of a delicate position right now. He's been asked about his future in Minnesota, and his responses have been anything but definitive. Instead of a clear-cut, "Yes, I'm staying," Flores has been diplomatic, praising the Vikings, their ownership, and their coaching staff, especially Kevin O'Connell, their head coach. He's expressed genuine love for Minnesota, but he's also left the door open for a move elsewhere. Let's pause for a moment and analyze what Flores's words mean. He's playing it smart, folks. By keeping his options open, he's signaling to the league and to the Cowboys that he's a hot commodity. His tone, his language, all suggest that he's weighing his options carefully. It's a classic keep your options open approach, which makes sense because as one of the top defensive coordinators available, he's going to be inundated with offers this off-season. And yes, that includes the Dallas Cowboys. Now, why would Flores consider leaving the Vikings for Dallas? The answer is straightforward: money. The NFL is a business, and top-tier coordinators are compensated accordingly. Flores' recent contracts and negotiations indicate that he expects to be paid among the league's best defensive coordinators. If Minnesota isn't willing to meet his financial demands, he'll look elsewhere, and that could very well be Dallas. Of course, there's also the strategic aspect, the chance to work in a franchise with a storied history, a passionate fan base, and the potential to finally build a defense that can contend for Super Bowls. But let's not forget Jerry Jones's side of the story. The owner has a reputation for being frugal, or at least cautious with coaching salaries. Yet, he's also shown a willingness to spend when it's necessary. Remember, in 2024, Jones made Mike Zimmer one of the highest paid defensive coordinators in the NFL, offering a $14 million salary. That's no small feat, and it signals that if Jones truly wants Flores, he might be willing to open his wallet wider. The question is, will he? This is where the real chess match begins. Flores' hiring could be the difference between a defense that ranks middle of the pack and one that becomes a feared unit capable of shutting down the league's best defenses. Think about the potential impact with Flores' aggressive blitz-heavy schemes. The Cowboys could finally bolster a defense that has been inconsistent and sometimes porous. Remember, the Cowboys' defense has shown flashes of brilliance, but injuries and scheme misalignments have hampered their consistency. Bringing in Flores could be the catalyst to fix that. Now, how does this fit into the bigger picture of the Cowboys season? Well, the team has been on a roller coaster. They started the year with high expectations thanks to a potent offense led by Dak Prescott, who's been playing at a high level, but the defense has struggled at times, especially in critical moments, which has cost them games they otherwise could have won. The loss of key players like Trayvon Diggs, combined with scheme issues, has exposed vulnerabilities that a top defensive mind like Flores could exploit and improve. Looking at the current season, the Cowboys have shown they're capable of competing with anyone on offense, but their defense remains a work in progress. Question is, can Flores' presence stabilize and elevate the unit to the next level? If he's hired, what adjustments would he make? Would the Cowboys shift to a more aggressive blitzing scheme, taking more chances on third down, or would he focus on better zone coverage to limit big plays? The answer likely lies somewhere in between, but Flores' track record suggests that he's not afraid to take risks and adapt his schemes to his personnel. And speaking of personnel, it's worth mentioning that the Cowboys do have some key pieces to work with. Players like Trayvon Diggs, when healthy, are game changers. The defensive line with stars like Micah Parsons is already among the league's best, but the secondary and linebacker core have been inconsistent. Flores' knack for designing schemes that maximize the talents of his players could be exactly what the Cowboys need to turn their defense into a true top-tier unit. Now, let's contextualize this within the recent history of the Cowboys' defensive coaching staff. Mike Zimmer's tenure was marked by a solid, disciplined approach, and he was highly respected league-wide. Despite that, the team decided to move on after the 2023 season, signaling a desire for a fresh start. The challenge now is to find someone who can bring new energy, innovative tactics, and a proven track record of success. Flores ticks all those boxes, but convincing Jerry Jones to spend big on a coordinator, especially one with head coaching aspirations, might be the biggest hurdle. This entire scenario also raises questions about the future of the Cowboys coaching staff as a whole. Will Scott have a say in the defensive scheme? Will he be given the autonomy to hire his own coordinator? Or will Jones impose a different direction? These are questions that only time will answer. But one thing is clear: the Cowboys are at a crossroads, and the decision they make regarding Flores could shape their fortunes for the next several seasons. Now, let's compare Flores to other defensive minds in the league. While names like Steve Wilks or Rex Ryan come to mind, Flores' reputation as a defensive architect places him a notch above most. His ability to craft schemes that adapt to his players' strengths is a rare skill. When you look at the league's best defenses over the past few years, many of them have been led by coordinators with Flores' mentality. Aggressive, disciplined, and innovative. What about the other side? Some might question whether Flores' style fits with the Cowboys' existing personnel, or whether his aggressive approach could backfire if not executed perfectly. That's a valid concern, but history shows that with the right players and coaching environment, Flores' defenses thrive. Plus, his previous stops have demonstrated that he's not afraid to make tough decisions and adjust his game plan based on the opponent. When it comes to the playoffs next year, the importance of a top-notch defense cannot be overstated. The league's best teams have elite defenses that can carry them deep into January. If the Cowboys want to finally break their playoff drought and challenge for a Super Bowl, upgrading the defensive coordinator position might be the missing piece. Flores' hiring could be that gain share. So, what can we expect in the coming weeks? Well, if Flores' contract with the Vikings truly expires at season's end, expect the Cowboys to make a serious push. Jerry Jones's willingness to spend and his desire to fix the defense will be tested. Will he open the checkbook? Will he give Scott and Hamer the freedom to bring in Flores? The speculation is already heating up, and the NFL world is watching closely. The next few weeks could be filled with major moves, negotiations, and strategic plays aimed at securing Flores' services. Let's also think about what this means for the Cowboys' long-term strategy. Building a consistent dominant defense isn't just about hiring the right guy. It's about creating a culture of toughness, discipline, and innovation. Flores embodies that mindset. His presence could change the entire dynamic of the locker room, inspiring players to elevate their game and buy into a new system. Micah Parsons, for example, could thrive under Flores' aggressive schemes, becoming even more of a disruptive force. Finally, it's worth mentioning that these kinds of coaching and coordinator changes often have ripple effects across the league. Other teams will be watching closely to see if the Cowboys land Flores, and if they do, how it impacts their defense. Similarly, Flores himself will weigh his options carefully, considering not just the salary, but the potential for a team that aligns with his vision of a dominant defense. In conclusion, the potential hiring of Brian Flores as the Dallas Cowboys defensive coordinator isn't just another off-season story. It's a pivotal moment that could define the team's trajectory for years to come. Whether Jones is willing to spend the necessary money and give Flores the autonomy he needs remains to be seen. But one thing's for sure, the Cowboys are on the verge of a significant transformation. And the decision they make now could lead them back to the top of the league or keep them in the cycle of mediocrity. And now, Dallas Cowboys fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this whole situation? Do you believe Flores is the right fit? Do you think Jerry Jones will open his wallet for him? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Cowboys. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Dallas Cowboys news. This story is far from over, and we'll be here every step of the way to bring you the most detailed and comprehensive analysis. Thanks for watching, and as always, go Cowboys.